Hi, one must be our videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is the Into the Weekend with BetDSI show for college football week 13. A ton of interesting games this week. I had to narrow it down to 3, Brent. So the first one I have to ask you about, Ohio State, Michigan, of course, a huge game. Ohio State off their first loss. I could easily see this one being one of those games where there's sharp action on both sides. As far as the public action, I'm guessing it's huge and split.
Most of my action, actually, in terms of the wager count, is on Ohio State. I've got more public action there, you would call it. I've also got some decent sharp action as well on Ohio State. So it's a case where I've got the public guys and I've got sharp guys both on Ohio State. They're sitting basically. We're at a pick right now. You may be a slight lean to Ohio State. We'll throw like pick minus 15 or some of that back and forth. The sharp money that I did take on Ohio State was at plus 1.5, so that line's gone. It's interesting because we're down to a pick, and you might say, "Wow, it's plus 1.5 down to a pick. That's not much of a move." But I mean, when they win by 1, it certainly is a big move. And any sharp guy will tell you a point is a big deal. But as it is right now, I've got my count and my money all one way on Ohio State. I've got really good volume on this game, which is nice, but unfortunately, most of it is one way with Ohio State. And the total as well, I've got decent action on the over, almost nothing on the under. We're sitting at 46.5 right now. But right now, we'll call it Ohio State at a pick minus 15, total 46.5. And the sharp that I did take was Ohio State plus 1.5, Peter.
So it sounds like then it's going to be a big decision game for you. You're going to need Michigan pretty big unless you get big action the other way on Michigan.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those cases, though. I mean, you could flip the line and go Ohio State minus one, and that it just might be enough to trigger the action the other way. So I mean, you can figure that if we take if we end up balanced, in terms of a pick, or Michigan ends up favored by the time they kick off, you can presume that was probably sharp money that came in the other way.
And then I have to ask you about the Iron Bowl, Alabama at Auburn. The way the seasons have gone for both these teams, I have to assume that Alabama is an overwhelming public play. Any sharp action on Auburn? I would be very surprised to hear that. And I'm guessing this line is going to close closer to 17. Right now it's about 14, right, Brent?
Predicting it's going to close at 17.
I mean, I'm just assuming you're going to get huge public action on Alabama, and if you're going to get any sharp action at all, it's going to be on Alabama as well.
If I told you my count was in favor of Alabama, but my money favored Auburn right now, you might change your opinion, Peter.
Is that true? Really? You got sharp action on Auburn?
Yeah, I did.
Wow,
I mean, it was a guy who hammers the opening number usually. He took Auburn plus the 14.5 minus 0.5. So we weren't, it wasn't 110. It was like minus 14.5 minus 115 on Alabama at the time. So right now we're running Alabama minus 14. We're still minus 15 on them, so you can get Auburn plus 14 minus 0.5 or whatever. But a guy, he's what we're going to call on the pseudo sharp list because he usually hammers the opening number, and he's pretty good with that stuff. My count is definitely one-sided in terms of the number of bets I've taken in favor of Alabama. We're looking at about 5-1 already. So yeah, your prediction that the public money is going to be on Alabama, definitely correct. But the sharp action that I did take, we'll call it pseudo sharp action, was the plus 14.5 minus 0.5. And right now we're sitting at 48.5 for the total. I've taken almost nothing either way on that one.
All right, and then I have to ask you about Notre Dame, Stanford. There was a big move in this one in Stanford's favor. Obviously, Notre Dame is very banged up. Notre Dame tends to be a public team, though, and I'm guessing there's, I don't know about sharp money. If there is any sharp money here, I would guess it's on Stanford.
The same guy who we talked about in terms of betting Auburn plus the 14.5 also played Stanford minus 3. So the line's all the way up to 4. So like I said, he's usually pretty good with the opening numbers. As you can see, he had the 14.5 minus 0.5. It's down to 14 now. He laid the 3. We're up to 4 right now. This is another game where right now I don't have a ton of action, but by kickoff it's going to be a real big game for us, which is nice. The wager count right now is pretty much even. I have more straight bets on Notre Dame. I have more, like when you count the parties and teasers, that count favors actually Stanford. So it's kind of indicating that we'll probably end up pretty balanced as it is right now. Our money slightly favors Stanford, most of that because of the early bigger bet that we took on Stanford, the minus the 3. So it's one of those games where, right now I don't have a ton of action. The early indication is that Stanford was the sharp side, at least the number minus 3. We're up to 4 right now. Not a whole lot back on Notre Dame right now. And total, my count is about 4-1 on the over right now. We're sitting at 56. Now, none of that was really sharp action or anything like that. So we're sitting Stanford minus 4, over 56. The pseudo sharp came in Stanford minus 3. Mostly public action driving the total over, Peter.
Okay, well, there's a lot of interesting games this week, a lot of rivalry games. What can you tell us about some of the notable action that you've taken this week, Brent?
I can tell you that one of the heaviest bet games I have this week is UL Lafayette and Appalachian State. Probably not one of those. Probably not one of those games that you were thinking, was so interesting interesting on paper and all that. The reason there's so much action is I got, sharp action both ways. I've got minus 22.5 on App State, minus 23 on App State, and then I got sharp money back the other side at 23.5. So we're basically bouncing between 23.5 and 23 seems to work in terms of generating action on this game. Again, not a whole lot of public money involved in this game, but the dollar volume is so high because I got sharp action involved. So I just wanted to throw that out there because it's notable, not that there's really anything sharp on there. When you want to talk about sharp action, though, I do have sharp action on Syracuse. Syracuse +3 even money right now is a sharp play. Boston College is the road favorite there, -3. We're down like 3 flat right now. The early sharp action came Syracuse +3 even money. Going down to Vanderbilt and Tennessee, I got sharp action on Tennessee -17, -05. We're sitting at 17.5 right now. Pretty much one-sided action on Tennessee just because of the sharp action that came in. Again, it was 17 -05. Tennessee the home favorite, up to 17.5 right now. Right below that game, Southern Alabama and Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern getting a sharp support, a -21. The action came in there, and we're sitting up to 22 right now. I've got absolutely nothing back on South Alabama, so we're looking for kind of like, fishing right now. We might shoot up to 22.5, go to 23, do something to get some money back. So right now the sharp did come on Georgia Southern -21. Also, the total of that game, under 57, was sharp. Nothing but one-way action on the under there. It's sitting at 54 right now, so that might drop. The sharp came at 57, like I said. I've got nothing on the over at all there. Moving right along, Georgia Tech. The kind of luster taken off this game, but nonetheless, I do have sharp action right now. Georgia is a 4-point favorite on the road at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech 3-8 on the season. The +4.5 was a sharp bet, though. My count, though, in terms of the public, does favor Georgia. My money favors Georgia Tech. Again, the sharp action came at +4.5 on the Rambling Wreck. 195 is Northwestern and Illinois. I have sharp action there on the over. Came at the over 41. We're sitting at 42 right now. Again, nothing back on the under, unfortunately, there for us. And moving down to the biggest one-sided game in terms of sharps all over one side, UTEP at North Texas. How's North Texas doing this year?
Sure, pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean they're absolutely terrible, of course. But I got sharp action on North Texas. I got 3 different sharps all on the same side. They came in on the opening guy who we talked about earlier. He hit the -2. Another sharp guy came in on the -2.5. And I also got sharp money on -3, even money, all one-sided, all North Texas at home. They're sitting as a 3-point favorite right now. That might climb up, but it's just three guys all on the same side. That's a clear indication where the side you want to be on that this week, Peter.
All right, a lot of interesting action from some of the more minor games this week. College football week 13. Brent, thanks so much as always, and we'll talk to you tomorrow for NFL week 12.